We are here for the patient. Ultimately, he has to get the best diagnosis so that he can get the best treatment.
And in today's episode, we are honored to feature a name synonymous with cutting edge medical imaging in India, Padma Shri Dr. Harsh Mahajan, founder and chairman of Mahajan Imaging.
We tend to work in silos. There's pathology, there's microbiology, there's biochemistry, there's radiology, nuclear medicine, genomics, metabolomics, proteomics. All of these work in silos. My wife, who has been standing shoulder to shoulder with me, in fact, they say behind every successful man, there's a woman. I say that she's also in front. We brought in the first 1.5 Tesla MRI into the country, which was capable of doing functional MRI. Technology matters, but the man behind the machine matters even more. So we have tried to get the best of people in the healthcare segment. You have to have empathy. You have to put yourself in your patient's shoes. You have to treat them the way you would want your doctor to treat you.
Hello and welcome all to Bold Voices, Voice of Healthcare's exclusive series where we bring you face to face healthcare change makers shaping India's future in association with Polymed. I'm your host, Simran Chaudhary. And in today's episode, we are honored to feature a name synonymous with cutting edge medical imaging in India, Padma Shri Dr. Harsh Mahajan, founder and chairman of Mahajan Imaging, a true pioneer in radiology and diagnostics excellence. Welcome to our show, sir. We are really happy to have you here.
Thank you very much, Simran. It's an honor to be on this show. And at the outset, I must congratulate Polymed and especially Mr. Himanshu Baid, who in a short period of time has built an Indian multinational company manufacturing across the globe and really aspiring to be one of the top few in the world with cutting edge, world class quality of their products. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much for those kind words, sir. And now, without any delay, we would like to dive directly to your remarkable journey, your philosophy of leadership, and what drives innovation in the intersection of medicine and technology.
Well, I would say that I'm like many entrepreneurs, an entrepreneur by default. If you ask me, was there a vision? Was there some kind of great thought that I had as to what to do or where we are to go when we started? I would say there was nothing of the kind. It's just that I came back from the US after doing a fellowship in MRI. India's first MRI had got installed here in Delhi in a DRDO lab in Mass. This was 1988. And really, I came back to work there. I come from a middle class family. My parents were both teachers. And entrepreneur in the late 80s was not a commonly used word. As things happen sometimes in the government, it took nearly 2 years for a vacant position of a scientist C, something like an assistant professor, to be advertised, for the interview to be held. A date for interview would be given and then it would get postponed. And during that time, I started thinking that I'm the only trained MRI person in the country. मैं तो भूल जाऊंगा सब कुछ. So this thought came that should we do something on our own? And so I talked at home and, at home they said, ये पागल हो गया, करोड़ों की बातें करने लग गया है. And at that time, crore, you couldn't even, the word wouldn't come out.
Yes, sir.
This was the era of Lakhpatis. You had ek lakh ki lottery. But, somehow I persisted. And my father, he was principal in a public school. He talked to some of the businessmen parents who were his friends that my son has come back from the US and there's this new technology MRI that has come. Would you be interested in partnering to set up something? And one of them agreed. And that's how the whole thing started. So if you tell me, did I envisage something or did I plan? Absolutely nothing of the kind. So you can imagine how crazy we were. But it's just that we persisted. They say the Urdu word for this is junoon. But without my partner's steadfastness, that nahi dekh lenge, it wouldn't have happened.
Definitely, sir. I can feel that Junoon word in your story. And still, this point of time, we all can feel that, the enthusiasm, the craze behind setting up this, biggest venture in India, being the first imaging diagnostics
In
organization
this
in
part of the
India.
country, yes.
Definitely, sir. And, going through a lot of struggle and hustle, and after a lot of waiting period, that finally happened. And now Mahajan Imaging has one of the biggest name, a renowned name in diagnostic.
In fact, now we are called Mahajan Imaging and Labs since we added pathology and also next-gen sequencing, genomics, into the mix about 4 years ago. So now, actually, at Mahajan Imaging and Labs, we call ourselves a center for integrated diagnostics, where we do from hemoglobin all the way up to next-gen sequencing, and from X-ray to PET CT and everything in between under one roof. I think that's the future of diagnostics, where everything should be available under one roof.
Definitely. And I think that is what we are discussing about, the enthusiasm and the Junoon, which is keeping you going and, expanding in a bigger level.
I think a lot of the credit should also go to my co-founder, my wife, who has been standing shoulder to shoulder with me. In fact, they say behind every successful man, there's a woman. I say that she's also in front.
Definitely, sir. Without that support, and like you said, she was fighting with you in front, like any other leader, and with her, you have managed this.
I hope she's seeing this.
She'll be very happy listening this, sir. So we know that Mahajan Imaging has become a benchmark in Indian diagnostics and imaging sector. So if you could tell us what are the key differentiators or unique proposition that set Mahajan Imaging apart and enabled it to carve into a distinct niche in such a competitive landscape to till date.
See, there are certain factors. One, we were the early starters. So when you are starting some new thing or bringing in some new technology, and this came into diagnostics, the onus rests on people who start or bring in new technology to also spread the word. So education, first of the physicians, surgeons, doctors, radiologists, then also technology that we brought in. In the early 90s, it was said India deserves only permanent magnets, which were cheaper, which were not as good in terms of image quality, in terms of accurate diagnosis. But then we somehow took a leap of faith. I had worked on superconducting MRI scanners in the US, and that's what we went for. So we brought in GE Healthcare's, it was called GE Medical Systems at that time, first superconducting MRI in this country. And that differentiated us to begin with. And then, the other thing is that we kept pace with technology. We kept continuously upgrading. And in 1996-97, we brought in the first 1.5 Tesla MRI into the country, which was capable of doing functional MRI of the brain, of other body parts. And so, the radiologists and the doctors would understand. We brought in diffusion weighted imaging, perfusion weighted imaging, bold imaging, all of that. It wasn't the large government institutions, but a small private center which brought this in. And even after that, academics. We've been immersed in academics right from the beginning. We trained so many radiologists from within the country and many who came from neighboring countries. MRI was a new technology, and we've kept that trend. Then research. One would think that what is a private center doing in research, especially in the early days? Today, I think a lot of research, a lot of academics happens in the private sector and not just in medical colleges or in government sector. But we started that, and we've had formally DNB postgraduate students for the last 22 years. We've been in radiology, in nuclear medicine, and in research also. We've never kept said no to anyone. Actually, that's what, enhances the passion. That's bread and butter. Imaging is fine. Every case is a challenge. But newer technologies, bringing them into the country, CT, coronary angiography, dual energy CT, standing MRI, cone beam dental CT, all of these were some things, 3D, 4D, ultrasound. We were always amongst the first to bring these in, technology and the best of talent. Technology matters, but the man behind the machine matters even more. And so we have tried to get the best of people, the best of radiologists, the best of pathologists, the best of genomic specialists, the best of cardiologists into the mix. We have this kind of system in our centers where those who can afford pay full, and they kind of subsidize those who cannot pay full. And that system has worked very well for us for the last 35 years. And so it's a mix of things that happens. Our approach,
Hmm.
the technology, the people, the stress on academics, the stress on going round the country, round the world lecturing, and research for the patient. We are here for the patient. Ultimately, he has to get the best diagnosis so that he can get the best treatment and reduce the morbidity and mortality and get the best clinical outcomes. And that's where our focus has been, even though we've done well, even economically, financially, but that has been a byproduct. We've had so much pleasure in the other parts of what we've done in our diagnostic centers, through academics, research, lecturing, and showing the world that, you know, in India, radiology, pathology, diagnostics, genome sequencing is second to none, and that India has arrived as a healthcare destination.
Definitely, sir. And I really don't have any words. And I'm also surprised whatever you just explained us and how margin imaging is not just only on one factor, but mixed of all the factors like you explained. Because of that, the growth and everything has happened. And in all the factors you guys are playing, working hard in terms of approach, in terms of academics, research, technology, people. Like you said, the blessings of people work. It works in positive direction. And I must also say that the next generation of Mahajan Imaging is also ready to take on the world in this time for the diagnostics excellence.
Yeah, they're working hard, and that's good.
We just heard the story, sir. But just another question in my mind, sir. You started back in 1990s or
Yeah.
earlier to that, sir. If you were to start your journey today in 2025, what would you do differently? And what would you still keep exactly the same to exist or to become the same, to have that same empire in today's time also?
Simran, like I told you, we didn't start with any plan. There was nothing like a business plan, or I personally feel God charted my path. So I would leave it to God again, because we as individuals with our limited intellect, our limited imagination, our limited thought process, what we can think about doing, I think God makes you do much, much more. He has his own way of charting your path for you. So I would again leave it to God to do it. In fact, I say this very often, that if God had given me a blank sheet of paper and a pen when I was 30 years old and said, Beta, apni kismat likh le, so I could never have imagined or written where he's brought me today. I would say you look at every opportunity, you look at whatever is there in front of you, and take a call. So I would still do the same. Here I can even tell you that radiology as a choice of specialty was my second choice.
Okay.
My first choice was medicine. And so after finishing my MBBS in Maulana Azad Medical College, I wanted to do MD medicine. And I went for this entrance exam to PGI Chandigarh. PGI Chandigarh, this was 1984, did not have a common entrance test. For every subject, there was a separate entrance test. So I wrote the exam for medicine, which I wanted to do, and I wrote the exam for radiology. I've even forgotten why I wrote the exam for radiology. मेरे को याद नहीं है कि मैं रेडियोलॉजी क्यों भरा और क्यों उसका एग्जाम दिया. Maybe I read something at that time, or CT, MRI were just starting at that time. Maybe that's what, but I don't remember what was the catalyst for me to write that radiology exam. The whole thing got done, and next day, no list was put up. Next day, all the students were called into a conference hall, and there were 4 professors sitting on top, and those who qualified their name was called, and they would go up. Now, there were 2 seats in medicine and 2 seats in radiology, and my name was called, and I go up, and I'm told, they say, you are first on the waiting list in medicine, meaning I was third in the list, and you are first in radiology. And they gave me 3-4 seconds to choose. Again, it's God who made me choose the right thing, and I joined MD radio diagnosis and became a radiologist. So, these things in life, where we think कि हम plan किया है, ये of course you should plan if you can, but you should play with the cards that are dealt to you. I didn't get medicine. Luckily, I took radiology. For the first month, I was not very happy also, but then slowly I grew into it. Similarly, if I'd got the job, when I came back, I would not have been able to do what I was able to in life. So, jo kar sakte the, wo kiya. I mean, for most of people at my age, if they were to look back at the journey of their life, in most cases, they would see that those incidents in life where they felt totally despondent, disappointed, कि ये होना था, ये हो गया. When you look back, you say, यही सही हुआ. Otherwise, I wouldn't have reached where I have. So ultimately, what I even tell young students, someone wants to do medicine नहीं मिली, वो engineer बन गया, कोई engineering करना चाहता है, उसने MBA कर लिया, someone wanted to do IAS, वो IPS में आ गया. I say, whatever cards you are dealt in life, उनको अच्छे से खेलो. And then, do your best, leave it to God. And that actually is also the crux of Gita, where they say, do your duty and leave the result to the Almighty. Uh, at least in my life, that's worked very well. One thing I would continue to do in a similar manner, apart from trying to do the best possible job as a radiologist or as a doctor, look after those who are socio-economically weak, look after the poor. Of course, their blessings count for a lot. Also, I think I would continue getting the pleasure of academics and research and being at the cutting edge. I think those are things I would not replace for being able to, make more money or save more money. One thing maybe which I would do differently, especially in the beginning, would be spend more time with the family. I mean, I hardly got to spend time with the family, in the early years when my kids were small. I would leave home at 7 a.m., reach back at 12 at night, and then there would be calls in the night also. So when I left home, they were asleep. When I came back, they were asleep. And there were times my wife would bring them to the center and for them to meet me. There were no Sundays. Sundays was a full working day. Maybe that's something I would consciously try to change, because we are getting to spend time with our grandchildren now. And that's the time really I never spent with my own children. I would try to probably do that differently.
I have nothing to say on this, but one thing that your message gave us a very big learning, कि जो है उसके साथ best perform करो. So don't think about the past. What has happened, and that's what you said. Gita also says, कर्म करो फल की चिंता मत करो, बाकी भगवान देख लेगा.
Absolutely.
Very rightly said, sir, and we need to keep that in mind and remind us that often, or let's say every day, because now today's generation, we keep on thinking about what has happened, what to do next. Oh, I'm not able to do this because this went wrong and everything. I think we should focus on today, present, and work. That is the must. And with that, sir, we would like to shift our gears to our next segment, which is rapid fire. So we'll be asking some quick questions to you, and we need some fiery answers and whatever comes in your mind, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Absolutely.
So, one medical innovation you wish you had invented.
An AI algorithm which is omnibus. Hopefully, we still may invent it. We tend to work in silos. There's pathology, there's microbiology, there's biochemistry, there's radiology, nuclear medicine, genomics, metabolomics, proteomics. All of these work in silos. I hope someone will build an algorithm which can bring all the data together, be able to make sense of it, and throw out a diagnosis or a differential diagnosis. Anyone who does this, I think, would and to those who are watching, the youngsters, those developers with an aspiration, try doing this, because this is something which, for a doctor sitting in his chamber looking at a patient, to make sense of so much data
Correct.
is very, very difficult. And on a daily basis, the number of tests are increasing, newer and newer things come. AI algorithm which is able to make sense. Whether it's even possible, I don't know, but that's the aspiration.
I think people just got an idea of what to work on next.
Absolutely.
So, what would you prefer, watching a movie or reading a book?
I used to prefer reading a book. Now it's so much easier watching a movie. So watching a movie.
A mentor or a role model in your life you look up to?
There are many who've achieved so much, but I would think Mr. Azim Premji. I also look up to, gentleman called Jack Welch. He was the global CEO, chairman of GE. And I like to quote two of his, things he used to say. One of them is change before you have to. So this, in the rapidly changing technology segment, we've kind of followed over the years, tried to change before you are, forced to change. Second thing he said, which I follow, control your own destiny or someone else will. These two, I think, have people I look up to.
Coffee or chai during your long shifts? What would you prefer?
Chai, 1 cup when I wake up, in between coffee all the day, and then one chai in the evening when I go back home. So during work, it's coffee. That too black.
One bold decision that changed your career?
I think marrying my wife. I think that has changed the trajectory of my whole life. If she hadn't been there, we wouldn't be where we are.
And your favorite quote that keeps you going every day?
Change before you have to.
Hmm.
I believe that.
Rightly, sir. And that was our rapid fire round, sir. Thank you so much for answering that questions honestly. As we have come to end of our discussion and this amazing, inspiring conversation, last message you would like to give to our young healthcare professionals or radiologists, they are just starting out their career.
See, what I want to say is that there is no replacement for hard work. There is no replacement for, knowing your subject well. And in the healthcare segment, you have to have empathy. You have to put yourself in your patient's shoes. You have to treat them the way you would want your doctor to treat you. And also, you have to listen. At times, it may seem frivolous that you know what the diagnosis is, you know what the treatment is, but you listen. And also, especially to radiologists, do try to meet the patient, even if it's for a minute. Put a hand on the shoulder, just maybe explain very quickly the report. Because someone who's come to you thinks that you will do a good job, you will make the best possible report. But what he'll remember 10, 20 years later is those 2 minutes that you spent talking to him and explaining to him. That is what will keep him coming back to you. And that is what he will remember you, and remember you as an empathetic, sensitive, and caring doctor and caring person.
That was so amazing, sir. And this conversation has been so insightful, inspiring, not only for me, but definitely for our audience also who are listening out there. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your leadership quotes, styles, and how it all began and what the vision. It's been an amazing conversation, sir. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you very much.
That was Dr. Harsh Mahajan with us, ladies and gentlemen, and we brought to you an inspiring, insightful journey of him. So stay tuned and stay with us for more such inspiring journeys. Thank you.